Let's go through it. How Chelsea humbled Paris Saint-Germain. It was a very interesting game. Everyone thought that Chelsea were the underdogs, and that's when Chelsea performed the most, when the adversity, everything is going against them. Enzo Maresca was in a presser and was actually angered by a question put forth by a journalist when the journalist was like, "You're going into a game, how are you going to play without the ball?" And his answer was, "Who told you we are going to be without the ball?" And that's what exactly Chelsea did. Chelsea set up in a very interesting way. Without the ball, they had this interesting shape where it was 4 defenders, 4 midfielders, and 2 attackers. Enzo Fernandez adding up to Joao Pedro, making that front 2, making them their initial line of press. They've got 4 midfielders with Pedro Neto going on to hack this touchline, and in defense you've got Cucurella and Desiree Doué having their own tea party on that side. So this was the general setup for both teams. Paris Saint-Germain on their part set up also in a 4-3-3 situation, allowing Vitinha alone to be in that holding midfield. But what happened as the game went on? Now, because of how Chelsea decided that they were going to go against the grain and be very difficult to play against, Chelsea found a way of trying to man-mark, move together wherever the players of Paris Saint-Germain went. So in possession, Paris Saint-Germain, in the beginning, sought to try and build out through all their various channels. They normally have the man Mendes going forward, playing triangles and ending up as the box crusher sometimes. But in this particular game, it was different. Why was it different? We'll get there. In this sequence here, you see Dembele, who is supposed to have been here, has dropped back to allow Ruiz to rather get that inside channel. This particular run was made a couple of times, but not to success. Now, this is another point here. Kvaratskhelia has dropped from this part into midfield to try and make it narrow. Same thing was being applied on the other side when you had the man Hakimi. Yes, Achraf Hakimi. He was actually causing more trouble. However, his trouble was not troubling Chelsea enough. Why do I say so? Let's move it all along. Still in possession. This was how the team, Paris Saint-Germain, tried to attack Chelsea. So they began to notice it quite early that this side of the pitch was not favoring them. So they allowed Mendes to sit back, and this also curtailed their attacking prowess, because Mendes is one of the players who likes bumping into the box. He was not doing that in this game. It now cuts away one attacking threat because Chelsea kept him busy with Cole Palmer and Malo Gusto. We'll be getting into that much later and we discuss the goals. But in this situation, since they were not going to be able to push that forward, they allowed Achraf Hakimi to rather bump forward. And Chelsea's response to that was to make the man Pedro Neto to constantly man-mark Achraf Hakimi. Wherever Achraf Hakimi went, Pedro Neto went with him. So Pedro Neto going this way allowed Desiree Doué to come into the channel, and also allowing Ruiz to be in the middle, and also Neves there, and you have Kvaratskhelia, who was actually poor on the day. So this was the shape of Paris Saint-Germain anytime they wanted to build from the back. Now let's move it on. For Chelsea, defending such a situation was going to be tricky, but we'll talk about how they defended it much later. But with them also in possession, this was how they sought to build. They sought to, as much as possible, build in a very interesting way, and out of possession, they tried as much as possible to go man-to-man. Pedro Neto, Achraf Hakimi, Desiree Doué, Cucurella, Colwill, who is a centre-back, has moved into midfield because who he's marking is in midfield. Now, there was a very interesting twist to what Chelsea were doing. Chelsea had told their man, that is the man, you know, the man, yeah, the Chelsea boss, who has promised Chelsea fans Champions League even before the competition starts. That is the man, Moise Caicedo. He was doing something under the radar. What was he doing? Here it is. If Ousmane Dembele moves to the right-hand side of the pitch, you get your man also drafting to that side. If the man Ousmane Dembele moves to the left-hand side of the pitch, you get Moise Caicedo also drifting to that side. Why? To help cover the channel that the man was going to attack. That's Dembele was going to attack, which was very smart from the man Enzo Maresca. Now, moving it on and also seeing how Chelsea sought to build up from certain sequences which actually maybe led to a goal. In possession, Chelsea also sought to also impress their strength on the game. They were not only there to play the counter-attacking game. So sometimes in possession, you see them playing in this situation where you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Chelsea players attacking. They've got 3 midfielders and they've got 2 defenders who are normally the centre-backs, and allowing the man, push forward, Reece James, Malo Gusto, Cucurella, or push forward into midfield to assist Moise Caicedo. That was what Chelsea were doing. And this was their attacking line. This actually eventually led to one of the goals. And I'm going to explain it. Now, there was one interesting thing which also happened. Reece James stepping up and also helping in the press was really interesting. But Chelsea kept this particular situation whenever they actually also wanted to impress themselves upon the game and play some good football. Now let's move it along. So Chelsea then decided that it was time for them to attack. How were Chelsea attacking? Chelsea decided they were not going to play from the back. What happened? Chelsea are a team that have sacked goalkeepers because they want the goalkeepers to play from the back. But in this situation, it was different. Let's get to it. Here is Chelsea trying to progress the ball. Chelsea gets the ball to Sanchez. Chelsea constantly got the ball to Sanchez to allow him room to be able to kick the ball using his most powerful foot, that is his right foot. And constantly, he did not sought to go here. No, sorry, he did not sought to go here because it would be a much more difficult kick. Constantly had the man, Dembele, coming at him in this direction. So he always had this channel open for him. This channel open for him. The way PSG were pressing Chelsea also allowed a gaping hole in midfield, and Chelsea took advantage of that, allowing the man Joao Pedro to constantly drop into midfield, receive that ball, tap it onto Cole Palmer, and then automatically that switches from defense to attack. Now let's switch it on and get to see one thing that led to the first goal. In such a sequence, the man Sanchez, we know, is very, very easy to press him into confusion. But in this case, he had practiced all through the week how to perfect his kick with the right foot, which is his strongest. Now, let's build up to 2 of the goals. So here is one example of Chelsea's, this actually led to 1 goal. Kicking the ball to him, Cole Palmer. Cole Palmer is always going to beat Mendes one-on-one, which we saw on the day. And then automatically, this sequence turns into attack for Chelsea. This is how actually Chelsea got their first goal. Their first goal, it went from that side to this side. Gusto bumps that ball, and then he was on to go. You have the man, Cole Palmer, running in from somewhere here, and then Gates crashing in the box, bending it beautifully beyond the hands of Donnarumma. Now, minutes after that, this is the build-up to Chelsea's second goal. Cole stepping up from defense. He now has the ball. Look at this open channel here. The man, Joao Pedro on the day, instinctively was the difference maker for Chelsea in all 3 goals. In the first goal, he moved away to draw away the number 4 man for Paris Saint-Germain. In the second goal, it led up to the same thing. In the third goal, he was actually the one who scored. So let's build it up now. Now, you see Joao Pedro here. Neto, who is supposed to be hugging the touchline here, is here. He has left Vitinha. Sorry, not Vitinha. He has left Achraf Hakimi to his fate up there. Now, Reece James is here. Where is Moise Caicedo? Since Cole has stepped up, this is Moise Caicedo. So Caicedo has stepped back into defense to allow Cole to try and distribute the ball. Now he finds an open channel here, lays it on to Palmer. Mendes, who is supposed to be somewhere here, is out of position. He's out of position. Now this ball goes beautifully, and Cole Palmer is bound for the goalpost, and that actually also results in a second goal. Now this is Chelsea's third goal. So Chelsea now have a situation where they have literally built up and are gradually passing the ball around and have built some confidence because they are 2 goals up. 2 goals from counter situations. Now let's see what Chelsea can do. Now, Cole Palmer is in a situation where there is a gaping hole. Why these 2 defenders left this hole here in this channel, only they can understand. Now, the man Joao Pedro tells us that there's more to his game than just carrying the ball from outside and placing. So he is making that instinctive run, pointing exactly where he wants the ball. Cole Palmer reading it and unleashing a weighted pass perfectly onto the on-rushing part of Joao Pedro. What does he do? He then takes the ball beyond Gianluigi Donnarumma and dinks it beautifully on top of him. And Chelsea, automatically, in 42 minutes, caused mayhem, dismantled PSG, humbled them at their own game, adding the part that no one so far in Europe had been able to do, to discover the weakness in this man that is, yes, Mendes. And that is how the man, Enzo Maresca, formerly known as the championship coach, Enzo Maresca, formerly known as the Conference League coach, became a world champion with Chelsea. Chelsea are walking away with some cool amount of money in this particular situation, and we'll see how they'll get to use that one. But we'll see. So that's exactly how Chelsea humbled Paris Saint-Germain at their own game. Now let's move it along, and remember that this is still Off the Cuff right here on MX24 TV, and we are streaming live on various platforms, and we'll be